Sir, may I come?
Come.
Good morning, sir.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
So you are Aditya.
Yes, sir.
Good. So you are from a very interesting and important city, Varanasi,
Yes, sir.
and you have passed out from IIT Delhi
Yes, sir.
in 2020, engineering physics.
Yes, sir.
Very nice. And then what are you doing since then?
So in 2020, I graduated,
Hmm.
and then I was preparing for civil services.
Ajay, tell us one thing. When you take such decisions that you will be preparing for this, what comes in your mind? You will get success, that is pakka, okay, all right. But suppose if the success gets delayed, so what do you think? How do you plan for that?
Yes, sir. Sir, with respect to the examination only, sir, unfortunately, if I couldn't clear this time, then I will sit in the exam certainly in the next year also, and I will try my best to crack it.
Hmm.
But even if it goes south in that point of time as well, then I will use my existing knowledge in graduation fields to apply for a job or maybe in that field. But I will try my best to crack the exam right now.
It's very easy exam, so you can crack it. इसमें कोई ऐसी बड़ा चीज नहीं है. It's very simple. The only
Yes.
thing is require some focus
Yes, sir.
and least contact with the books.
Yes, sir.
The person who prepares with books, he cannot score good marks in civil services. You might be knowing by now.
Yes, sir.
Very easily. Okay. So I am observing that you have very interesting hobbies and areas of interest, right?
Yes, sir.
Listening to rock music is good. You have been swimming captain.
Yes, sir.
It means you must be swimming very well. You have won so many prizes, stage play, a lot of things you are into. Now, just tell me, in what you should say, September 2021, we found some very important civilization in Thamar Barani civilization
Okay, sir.
in India.
Yes, sir.
What is this? Thamir Barani.
Hamir Birani.
Thamir Barani.
Okay, sir.
Which shows that 3,500 years back, there was urban civilization.
Yes, sir.
What was that? What is that? The whole thing? Tell me.
Sir,
There's only indication I have given.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm unaware about the news, but at that point of time, the contemporary civilization was the Indus Valley civilization. So
This is South.
yes, sir, in the south. So we were till now we were only aware about the Indus Valley civilization and the Harappan civilization, but this is a new civilization in the southern India. So this is a new kind of a revelation.
Now, what revelation?
So that a contemporary civilization was existing in South India at that point of
No,
time.
that is not the indication. What is the real indication?
So,
I told you the explanation. I have given you the explanation.
yes, sir.
So, what can be the connection? What is being found, and what is surprising in this?
So, sir, if you allow me to take a guess, then sir.
No, I don't allow to guess. So I don't believe in guesses.
Sorry, sir.
If you don't know, it's okay.
Sir, I don't know about
There is
it.
no point in taking guess.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all right. Now, just tell me one thing. Whenever we are talking about economy,
Yes.
there has been a special operation by RBI this time in October.
Yes, sir.
GSAP.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
Sir, as far as I can recall, it was the Government Securities Acquisition Program.
What was there?
So, in which the RBI sought to purchase government securities, and in turn, it injected some cash into the economy to raise the liquidity.
So liquidity is already it was so high liquidity.
Yes, sir.
So why it was done?
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm unaware about the exact provisions. Sir.
The economy, in
Yes,
the
sir.
economy, you know it that is huge liquidity available.
Yes, sir.
And that is causing inflation for last 8-9 months lagatar.
Yes, sir.
So why did they do this GSAP?
Yes, sir. So it would. since the
And
inflation
it was very
high,
famous
yes,
thing, you
sir.
know, the finance minister herself announced that we shall be doing it, and all these things that they did. A lot of money
Yes, sir.
came into the market.
So I did read about it, but
Hmm.
currently I'm unable to recall it. I would read upon that. Sir.
Okay, thank you.
So, Aditya, tell me, there are various kind of these forces. One is military, then paramilitary, then police, and then there is one more, home guards. What is the difference between them in the duty?
So military forces are primarily focused on defense of the nation. For example, bordering in the border areas, they are they are they are basically positioned in a position to defend the borders and render their duty um, whenever any military situation is happening in the country. For example, 26/11 attacks, then they are deployed. So when it comes to the police, police is primarily
26/11 attack?
yes, sir. So the paramilitary forces were used over there.
No,
The
you're talking
NSG
about
command.
military or paramilitary? Paramilitary.
So in
सीधे चलो, सर ने जो बोले उनको एक एक करके बता दो यार,
yes,
ऐसे मत करो.
yes, sir. So in the 26/11 attacks, the NSG commandos were used, as far as I can recall. So they'll be a sub part of paramilitary forces. And so, sir, going on, the police forces are they are the
No,
prime.
you have skipped paramilitary.
Yes, sir. So the difference between military and paramilitary forces, I'm unable to recall right now, sir.
Okay, go on to police then.
So police is the prime law enforcement agency in a local area, for example, in a district, and then it is basically a hierarchy, and it is a state subject. So in a state, police are at a different hierarchies to basically enforce the law and order situations and various law provisions.
So, what do you refer to by hierarchy here?
So, for example, there is a director general of police at the state level.
Oh, okay, that means okay.
This kind of.
Yeah, okay, and then go ahead. The fourth one.
So the fourth one is the home guard, sir. So home guard is for basically the protection of the stationed forces or the battalions, sir. Or for example, the protection forces for the officers posted in particular area. So these kind of functions are assigned to the home guard, sir.
Oh my God.
Which officers and where posted? Posted where?
So
Which type of officers?
so it could be CAPF officers. The whole home guard department is.
So for CAPF, you need home guards to defend them, to protect them. Don't say such things. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Now, we are seeing increasingly, though you have skipped that thing, paramilitary, but we are seeing increasingly paramilitary is deployed in various civilian installations to guard, to protect, even to protect VIPs at times, and many other duties which normally should be entrusted to the police. Why is this happening?
So I think the primary reason is that
Where do you see paramilitary, first of all? Have you seen paramilitary working in civilian installation?
the one I can recall is, for example, the CISF forces are stationed at various industrial units and airports.
And airport. Okay. Now go ahead. Answer my question.
So, so, so the forces are also deployed for the protection of important people, sir, as you mentioned.
Okay, but why?
So, because the faith in these kind of forces, the security.
Why is there more faith in this and not in our own police?
Yes, sir. So I think there is faith in police, but there is a higher amount of faith in these kind of forces.
I want to know this the reason for this difference, higher or lower.
So because over the period, the police, for example, in the northern states especially, the police has a tainted image that maybe it will not be able to perform its function up to the mark, and paramilitary forces and those protection forces will be able to basically maintain and uphold the security parameters. So this could be a reason why paramilitary forces are being chosen. And so secondly, the training of paramilitary forces is also stricter than the police forces. So this can also be a reason for that.
Yes, we can. This ordinary citizen can expect them to be neutral, and now the next question that I would like to ask you is, what is political will, and when is it used in administration?
So political will is basically uh, the the idea of a machinery of a state machinery to fulfill the public demand in public interest. Sir.
Idea of a state machinery.
So the idea of a state machinery to solve problems of people in the public interest, and there is an existing problem in the system, and it can be solved. So political will is that tool which will enable the politicians and the representatives of the public to basically solve this problem. It will enable them to solve that problem. So, for example, if we take the case of Article 370, so the political there was a demand to abrogate Article 370 since independence or since the inception of independence, but the political will was created in the later half of 2019. Then the abrogation really took place. So this can be examples.
And how do you distinguish it from political agenda?
Right, sir. So I think the intention will matter here, sir. So if the intent is really in the public interest, then it will be political will. And if it is a little bit maligned or ethics are not manifested in the political decision, then that is political agenda, sir.
Go ahead. Thank you.
You just said that there was a demand for removal of Article 370 since independence. So when do you think this article was introduced in the Constitution of India?
So, I mean, in the 1950s and 1960s, the demand started increasing. But
No, but when was this article introduced in the Constitution?
so in 1950s, 1954, as far as I can recall.
So then how can the demand be from the very independence of India when the article didn't even exist that time?
Right, sir.
Okay. Now you also take part in pledge, I can see from your DAF. So what is the oldest theatre in India? Oldest theatre.
Sir, I think that would be Ram Leela, the folk theatres that used to happen under the tree. Yes, sir.
And what is the later part of it? After Ram Leela, what is the second one?
So, the Braj region, we also see some kind of place. So there are theatre developing in different pockets of India since ages. For example, there is Tamasha theatre in Maharashtra. Then there was Yakshagana theatre based.
Yeah, but these are more modern. I'm talking about the very ancient theatres.
Sir, I would read upon that, sir.
In Kerala, there has been very ancient theatre that's also based on Mahabharata, but it's called in a different name.
So Mohini Attam.
Now, mathematics was one of your subjects. So, can you name 3 modern mathematicians of India and 3 ancient ones?
Yes, sir. So the 3 modern mathematicians which I can recall right now. So I would start with Srinivas Ramanujan, sir. So secondly, there was Akshay Venkatesh who got recently the Fields Medal in 2019. And so the third one I'm unable to.
And the ancient
So
ones?
the ancient ones, there is Aryabhatta, as we all know, and there is Bhaskaracharya from the medieval age, the 12th century, who introduced the Chakravad method, and there was Bodhyan, sir. So Bodhyan, he introduced the pi symbol, sir.
Okay, tell me the contribution of Brahmagupta.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard this name?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what was his contribution?
Yes, sir. So his contributions were related in most of the fields of in mathematics, ranging from algebra to geometry. So he wrote, as far as I can recall, he wrote a book, Leelavati, for algebra. Then
So what is written in Leelavati? What is the most significant contribution?
so simultaneous linear equations, as far as I can recall, he introduced this
He
method.
also, actually, Aryabhatta gave the place value of 0, but he actually gave the primary concept of 0, and then he also gave birth to the negative and positive numbers.
Thank you, sir.
Now, corruption is one of the major problems in our country. So, can you tell me some of the institutions which are designed to tackle corruption and some of the acts which have been enacted?
So, starting with the legislation, there was Prevention of Corruption Act, which was enacted by the Parliament in 1988, and then there were several bodies ranging from CBI that was established in 1950s by the Delhi Special Police Establishment Act. Then there was on the recommendations of Santhanam Committee, the Central Vigilance Commission was established. And so recently we have seen that the institution known as Lokpal or Ombudsman has been established.
And in the state, what is the principal body which or department which looks after corruption cases?
So the Lokayukta, sir.
The Lokayukt is looking after at the higher level, ordinary corruption cases.
So, sir, I'm unable to recall right now. But yes.
Now, can you give me some brief idea about the ongoing conflict in Yemen?
So the Yemen has native Houthis that they are rebelling against the Saudi Arabia uh, nation. So yes, sir. So the Yemen and Saudi Arabia have shared historical animosity, so due to which the Yemenis have have a feeling of resentment towards the Saudi Arabian people.
It is not between Saudi Arabia and Yemen. It is within Yemen, but having some implication from Saudi Arabia.
So I will read upon
Okay,
that for a
thank
better
you.
clarity, sir.
Thank you, Aditya.
You have not opted for your home state. What is the reason?
So I've opted because sir, the home state is Agmut, so it will involve diversity of places in which I will be posted in the future. So sir, job stability and association with one place would not be very much present, sir. So that is why I gave first priority for it.
So you don't want diversities.
So I want diversity, but given in a specific geographical location.
You want to be stationed at one place.
So stationed in North India or in Delhi, so particularly.
You can select actually.
So that is my preference. Yes, sir. So if preference is being asked, then that is the preference, sir. I'm free to go to any cadre, sir. That is why I give a preference over Uttar Pradesh.
What is the reason for joining civil services?
So the reason for joining civil services is primarily job diversity. That
But there you are not liking diversity.
so the diversity in that area is linked to the geography. So if I'm allotted Agmut cadre, then it can range from Andaman Nicobar to Arunachal Pradesh.
It is in India. Andaman is in India.
Right, sir. Yes.
So suppose you get Kerala cadre.
Yes.
You will say that it is deep in the south. It is very far off from north.
Yes.
So it will not be comfortable.
So there is no problem in serving in Kerala or in Andaman Nicobar. It's just the matter of preference that I have given.
Preference, yeah. Now tell your other regions. Other reasons for joining civil service.
Other reason for joining civil services is that, sir, it gives me it will provide me a leadership opportunity at a very young level. Then there is a very good advancement in this.
Yes, suppose you go into defense account services.
Yes.
क्या लीडरशिप आएगी आपके पास?
So the roles and responsibilities in a
वो तो किसी भी
cantonment.
जगह आएगी, किसी भी डिपार्टमेंट में आएगी।
Yes, sir.
तो फिर सिविल सर्विस में क्या स्पेशलिटी? आप कहीं भी जाओ, प्राइवेट जॉब में जाओ, तो भी आपके वही लीडरशिप क्वालिटी इज बेसिकली रिक्वायर्ड।
Yes, sir.
सो डाइवर्सिटी क्या क्या मतलब है? सर ने जो बार बार पूछ रहे हैं उनको उत्तर दो। व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ डाइवर्सिटी देन? सपोज जॉइन इन इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट,
Yes, sir.
no diversity, only just having connection with chartered accountants and doing this assessment the whole life.
Yes, sir.
What are you doing in there? There's nothing there.
Yes, sir.
In police, you are not doing anything after SP. There's nothing. What do you do after SP? Even SP does not do anything after SHO. There is nothing. No diversity in
So,
police. So, what diversity? Where are you searching for the diversity?
so I was referring to the varied level of roles and responsibilities. So, for example, in the police department, there is a department for crime investigation. Then there is also
In
vigilance
agriculture department, you should join. You can join the agriculture department. There, the deputy director seeds, deputy director, क्या कहते हैं उसको, for pesticides,
Yes, sir.
then fertilizers.
Yes, sir.
Everyone is doing separate work.
Yes,
Not one person is doing. So you do that. What is something special about joining this service? Why are you thinking? That's what he's asking again and again.
So the degree of leadership given in this service is greater than that of
Give one example.
Yes, sir.
Give one example of the situation.
Yes, sir. So, for example, if being a district magistrate, one visits to a particular village to solve problems, then he is able to listen to varied amount of problems from all the people.
For what problem?
So, any problem that the
For example, give the example. Suppose you are going to a village to sort out which problem.
Yes, sir. So, for example, it could be a criminal case whereby
Criminal case,
Yes,
DM will go.
Yes, sir.
Why the DM will go there on criminal case?
Sir, I have seen district magistrate that have visited criminal sites along with the superintendent of police. So for better coordination and for these kind of
No,
matters.
There are so many crimes
Yes.
in the district. So do you think actually DM is supposed to go?
Sir, for example, if the law and order situation starts going on the back front, then the DM has the responsibility to visit that site, sir. So, for example, in the Hathras case in Uttar Pradesh, the DM had to visit the
So
site.
what are the functions?
Yes, sir.
What are the functions of DM?
Sir,
Or say the collector?
yes, sir.
Core functions.
So the primary function is implementation of government schemes in that particular district or area. Then there is,
Collector implements all these schemes.
so the district magistrate is the
Which
executive.
scheme? Which scheme is implemented by the collector? Tell a single scheme.
So, for example, one district, one product scheme.
That is
Sir.
not. That is by industries department.
So the overall coordination is done by the.
So only for coordination, you are going there. You are going to
Coordination is
join
not the core function.
core function.
So then the other functions will be, for example, revenue collection. Then there is
Revenue collection of which revenue?
so property tax and
Property tax.
Property tax तो municipality करेगी.
yes, sir, municipal corporation.
Collector क्या करेगा उसमें?
Right, sir. So then I think he will do the overseeing of all these functions.
Overseeing के लिए इतनी बड़ी
Right,
service.
actually, you will be sitting in office and just overseeing.
Yes, sir. Sir, because the primary role of a bureaucrat or district magistrate per se is in the office with respect to the files. For example, he has to pass on the files, and if he
Files related to what? Yeah.
yes, sir.
Okay, good.
So he
But
has to-
related to which subjects?
So given the natural the district related administrative activities happening in the
Which activity?
so for example road construction is going to
Road
take place.
construction.
PWD. It will be looked after by PWD.
Department.
Sir, I
Headed by
think-
Minister and Secretary, Public Works Department.
So there has to be some kind of an approval.
क्या no approval is required.
Okay, sir. Sir, I will read
We'll
upon the
study on
functions,
that.
sir.
Okay, tell me the last question. You see, there are few women in workforce world over and particularly in India. So, what has been done to ensure actually that they feel secure? They feel actually, see, they are provided a good environment to work in a office setup or be part of the workforce. What has been done actually? to take care of women protection and welfare of the women.
Yes, sir. So, as you rightly pointed out, the female level 4 participation is hovering around 26% in the country. So, sir, in order to increase this level 4 participation.
Tell me the act.
Yes, sir. So the first act which comes to my mind is the Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act.
And tell me the important features of this act.
Yes. So for example, one feature which is very important is that each private company has to organize a committee with anti-harassment committee has to be organized by private companies.
Company or each office?
So, so I would look at the peculiar detail, but as far as I can recall, it was the office. So a branch has to basically a branch of the company has to.
But not in every office.
Sir, in office or any branch of the office, they have to establish.
So what is the minimum number which has been prescribed under the act? Minimum number of employees.
Sir, any formal company, I think, sir.
Means not it is not applicable to informal.
So it is not currently applicable to informal sector, sir.
Sure.
Sir, I'm not very sure, but I think I've read about it, sir. That in the unorganized sector it is.
There is nowhere in the act. It is applicable. On the contrary, there is explicit provision that it is applicable even to unorganized sector. Now, tell me the last thing.
Yes.
Whether a criminal case can be filed under this act for sexual harassment?
Sir, I think yes, but I'm not very sure, sir. But I think the act should allow a criminal case to be filed.
Or there is a separate provision somewhere else for this?
So in the Indian Penal Code, there will be a separate provision for sexual harassment.
So then there are two provisions in the IPC also and here also.
So IPC will determine the nature of punishment that is to be given for this offense. And sir, for further clarification.
No. For offense, they have to definition also has to be there. First there will be definition, then the punishment.
Yes, sir. Right, sir.
Now say actually whether there is a provision in the act for criminal complaint or not.
So I will read upon that, sir. I'm not very sure.
Aditya, we'll make some simple inquiries from your DAF entries, right? Your name is Aditya, and Aditya means
The sun, sir. Yes, sir.
the sun. Can you name some synonyms of the sun? Yeah.
So Bhaskar, Divakar, Ravi, and so so these are the synonyms which can come to.
There are more. There are more than these three.
So Bhanu is also one synonym, sir.
Is it right that the sun, not Aditya, the sun, is burning out slowly?
Yes, sir. So eventually, a time will come when the fuel of the sun will get extinguished, and the sun will eventually
Die out.
Yes.
And are we working on any alternatives to that?
So currently, we are sending some of the probes to investigate the coronal activities happening on the sun. Yes.
And what is the limit that scientists predict that by this time it would end?
Sir, I'm not sure about the limits, sir.
You want to take some guess?
So I think that is 160 million years from now.
Millions or billions?
So I would have to look upon that, sir.
You have referred to some ID proof in your driving license
Yes.
as your ID proof. This is for what? To carry it to the UPSC.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
When did you acquire this license?
So in 2017. Sir.
17.
Yes.
And it was issued by whom?
So it was issued by the RTO office.
RTO office where?
Sir, in Lucknow, sir.
No.
Yes, sir.
Did you undergo some tests?
Yes, sir. There was some driving.
Generally, quickly, can you tell me what steps were followed in this?
So, so in the driving test, they were basically showing the signboards, which what is the meaning of that particular signboard. For example, there was one school signboard was there. That means you have to drive slowly.
Signboards is one. And second,
So secondly, sir, the traffic signals and what kind of the traffic signals are.
any actual driving on the ground?
So no actual driving on the ground was tested in that test.
Why is that so? I mean, this is part and parcel and very, very important. No practical tests? No?
So in the first case, a learner's license is given,
Even if learner is on the road.
and then it is expected that when we will nextly come for the permanent license.
The test, you say the test was not prescribed or you didn't have to undergo this?
So, so that I think the test was not prescribed in the first place, sir.
Not prescribed.
Yes.
No. Anyway, I'll just make one inquiry on the signpost. That is the thing you referred first. Signposts are of 3-4 design types, right? Some are circular, some are rectangular, and some are
Triangular, sir.
hexagon. Yeah. Why they are different shaped?
Sir, I don't know the reason behind that.
You don't know the reason? And you were given a license? Yeah. Okay, we move on to, there is another entry. You are also writing, or you wrote some kind of entry exams for NDA and Naval Academy?
Yes.
Both are the same?
So the NDA and the Naval Academy, so National Defense Academy is encompassing all the three units of the military. That is the Air Force, Navy, and the Army. So Naval Academy is a special academy which trains some naval engineers in that particular department, sir.
So you wrote two separate entrance exams, or it was sort of both were included in one?
Sir, it was included in one. It was a common entrance exam.
And what could you share some special features as you appeared in the interview there?
Yes.
About the interview, can you share some special features?
Yes, sir. So in the NDA interview, I was asked about my 5 qualities about my father that I like and I dislike, and similarly there were other qualities. So then the interviewer started asking questions about mathematics in general, what are prime numbers, and questions were related to this aspect, sir. Yes, sir.
No questions asked on the flag hoisting?
Sir, no such
You see, one of the, I mean, popularly known rule is that the flag should be flown between sunrise and sunset. Yeah? But you would have seen now in most of the cities, flags are almost all over in public places, and they are there 24/7. So, is it a violation of that rule?
So first of all, we would have to see that where that rule is present. If the rule is present in the flag codes bill, so then, sir, in the flag code bill that was introduced, then if that rule isn't present in the flag code bill, then, sir, that indeed it would be violative of that provision.
That's what I'm asking you.
Yes.
So, what's your answer to that?
So then in that case, sir, it would be violative of that rule, sir.
What's your answer, my dear friend? You are you say if it is so, then it would be so. That's no answer. You say it is wrong or it is right. You are, since you went through all these processes, so flag hoisting rules, I mean, is something you are expected to know better.
Yes, sir. So I would read upon that, sir, the flying hosting rules. So, but as
You can't say anything now?
sir, regarding the flag hoisting thing, sir, if a flag is being hoisted, for example, in the embassies, the flag is hosted, and it is also hosted during the night time. Then in that case, it would not be violative of.
No, you are, anyway. Those are not relevant. My last question to you is your hobby on rock music. Do we have rock music in India in any of the vidhas, any of the genres of Indian music? Classical, modern, Bollywood, Tollywood.
So in Bollywood, we have very much similarity with the rock music. So some Indian prominent bands are also present. For example, there is the Indian Ocean, the Indian Jam Project, and the Local Train. These are some prominent Indian rock bands, which have gained traction during the recent.
Yeah, good. Indian Ocean is a good example. But there is something called indie music. So, indie music is part of Indian music or part of rock music?
Sir, it is basically a cultural homogenization of both. So it has also elements of Hindi lyrics, and some Hindi instruments, Indian instruments are also used, and there is also fusion of some of the rock elements of the Western society.
But it's a form of Indian music.
Sir, it is a fusion of both, but primarily yes, it is Indian music, sir.
Primarily Indian music.
So because the if given the lyrics are there are Hindi lyrics also in the song, and there are some classical instruments also being used in the indie genre. That's why, sir, I would classify primarily.
There are some indeed Indian artists who are well established, including UP and Rajasthan. But you are making again a mistake, and you will say you will have to read on it. It is not part of Indian music, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We shall just call you back.
Sure.
to the topics.
Thank you. So may I come?
Come. Better, Aditya.
Thank you, sir.
Aditya, just tell me one thing.
Yes, sir.
What do you think about your interview?
Sir, I think it did not go well.
Why?
So because I was lacking in-depth analysis in many of the questions.
Number one. Or
Yes, sir.
what else?
Secondly, I think, sir, I was not directly tackling the question. I was saying random things at first, and then I was coming to the point. So these are the broad two things, sir. And thirdly, I think, sir, I was also not loud enough. So that could be also an issue, sir.
No, you were audible. There's no problem at all.
No problem in that.
In fact, that is one of your quality. Your voice is very good.
Yes.
You
Okay.
were fluent and you were audible.
Okay, sir.
So overall, we can say that you have a lot of potential,
Yes, sir.
but you will have to work very hard to exploit that potential to your advantage. When is your interview?
It's a second May, sir.
2nd May. So it's far away.
Yes.
Now tell me truthfully, without anything added or subtracted, for interview, what type of hard work have you done?
Sir, I have basically prepared my detailed application form, whatever the keywords I could find. So, for example,
That is one.
yes, sir. So, secondly, deeply following the current affairs, watching debates on Rajya Sabha TV, and for broadening my horizon. over
That is
the
only
issues.
political debate.
Yeah, so the economical debates as well, for
So
example.
if
Yes, sir.
you are following economical debate, then you should know something about economy, what is happening in the economy.
Yes,
So first of all, what we would like to suggest you is that you brush your knowledge of
Yes.
all GS 1, 2, 3, 4 even
yes, sir.
thoroughly.
Yes, sir.
You might be having your notes with you.
Yes, sir.
Did you follow some books, or how did you prepare for exam?
So initially, I followed the books. Then I followed also the coaching's current affairs and all these things. And I've prepared my notes upon
You
that, sir.
prepared your notes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, have you ever seen any place in your city where public organization is functioning, municipality or anything? Have you seen, ever seen? Have you visited any municipal office or any government office for that matter?
Sir, I've visited, for example, I've visited RTO
No,
office.
leave that, leave that.
Yes, sir.
Other than that,
Sir, I think I have to revisit the government office.
You should. You
Yes,
should.
sir.
You should. You should visit. And
So for
while
in-depth understanding, you are suggesting that, sir.
at least you should know what is there
Yes,
in the
sir.
administration,
Yes,
what
sir.
for you are going.
Exactly. Yes,
You know this, and whenever, remember one thing, whenever the question is asked that why are you going in for civil services, immediately you are focusing on IAS only,
yes, sir.
basically. Jabki civil services there is a whole list of services.
Yes, sir.
So you are trying to frame your answer based on only on one service. There also you don't know what is the content,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
You are basically your objective of any candidate who is coming here is that he should get into IAS.
Yes, sir.
Generally, this is the objective. Now, when you are thinking of that, at least you should be aware of the basic structure, job profile,
Yes, sir.
what type of things he is doing, how is he doing, what are his limits, powers, what can he do,
Right.
why is so important,
Yes.
why is considered so important, why?
Yes, sir.
That's very important. So you should visit one of the district collector's office also.
Yes,
Make it
sir.
a point. Otherwise, you will be just jabbed at one place.
Yes, sir.
You do it, and don't go with your father.
Yes, sir.
Don't go with your father. Go alone and just observe what is happening.
Yes, sir.
In such a big building, so many officers are sitting in the collectorate.
Yes, sir.
Lucknow collectorate is a huge collectorate.
Yes, sir.
What is happening in that collectorate?
What are the functions?
What are the functions?
Yes.
Then you will understand what are the core functions of the district collector.
Yes.
What you were telling were not at all his core functions.
Yes, sir.
So this you have to gather knowledge upon.
Definitely, sir.
Okay. Then what you have to do is then learn one thing. Then when you start answering, never guess. No guesswork is giving you any marks in the examination. When you start guessing, it means simply you are trying to tell the board that I am not bothered about the facts, etc.
Yes, sir.
So you will never go into the depth. So, in other words, you are not fit to be an IAS officer or any civil servant, because aptitude is the major thing which is examined during the interview.
Right, sir.
You have to prove that you have the aptitude for civil services.
Yes, sir.
That has to be proved by your knowledge.
Yes, sir.
So now what you do is GS1 to GS4. You ask the people sitting outside. They will give you critical issues.
Yes, sir.
Critical issues of last 1 year.
Yes,
GS1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, sir.
Go thoroughly on them. So you will come to know all those things which are important and which have happened. Not current issues, critical issues. Remember it.
Critical issues. Yes, sir.
Current issues no one can remember because there are 5,000, 6,000
Right,
in
sir.
a year.
Yes, sir.
No one can remember those 6,000 issues. So the critical issues,
Yes, sir.
which are important for the examination. Okay. Then you should learn that whenever some question is asked, don't start replying immediately. Take breath, take your time, frame the answer, right? Make a framework also that this is what I'm going to answer, and then start speaking.
Yes, sir.
There also one formula you have to learn.
Yes.
You have good capacity of speaking, etc., but you have to learn one thing: speak minimum.
Yes, sir.
Speak minimum. Only pinpointed answers what the questions are requiring you to answer.
Yes, sir.
Something is asked, answer just that only. No history, no background, no paribhasha, nothing. You don't have to do anything of that sort.
Yes, sir.
Question has been asked, you answer that question.
Right, sir.
Otherwise, what you are doing, and during an interview, what we observe that you are putting yourself in trap unnecessarily. It is not required,
Yes.
and that because you are trying to speak something more,
Yes, sir.
which is not required at all.
Yes, sir.
So you should always make it a point to limit yourself, and in very specific and pinpointed words, you should explain what you want to.
Right, sir.
Okay, and while speaking and while answering their questions, don't involve sentimental values.
Objective analysis.
Objective. You have to be very objective.
Yes, sir.
You cannot give general answers.
Yes, sir.
Like if this is this, then this will be happening. If this is this, there is no answer basically. It is very offensive way.
Yes.
You yaad rakhna beta.
Yes, sir.
You are just like our son.
Yes, sir.
So I'm telling you that this is very offensive. That if someone is asking a very serious question to you, and you are just giving very lightly the answer, if this is against the law, it should be punished. If this is not against the law, it should not be punished. There is no answer.
Yes, sir.
It means you are insulting
Yes.
basically the board. You should never give such answers.
Right, sir.
Very, very specific. Otherwise, you have very good personality, very good demeanor, the way of speaking is very good, knowledge bank is very, very good. But if you just polish yourself with all these things,
Yes, sir.
you will excel.
Right,
Believe
sir.
us.
Definitely, sir.
Any question in your mind?
So when I'll read about GS 1, 2, 3, 4, then I should ask the questions myself and I should do mirror practice along with
No
that.
mirror practice is there.
Okay,
There is
sir.
no mirror basically.
Yes,
You are
sir.
yourself mirror. There is another fraud which is played by coaching institutes. You stand in front of a mirror and speak. You are already speaking very good.
Yes.
The only thing is the style and content.
Yes.
There is nothing bad in your speaking. That's what we are trying to tell you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The pauses I have to take more.
Pauses, and then you should be truthful what you are speaking. Speak only the truth which you know.
Yes, sir.
So you can ask for these type of books which are giving you the critical issues for the year.
Right. Sir.
Right? They will tell you from where you can get them, and they are free. They
Yes,
are not having any value.
Sure, sir.
Right? No pricing.
When is your interview?
So 2nd of May.
2nd of May. बहुत दिन है अभी.
Yes, sir.
और एक चीज और लास्ट सीख लो. There is a key to success which has been prescribed by Unacademy.
Yes, sir.
Key to success. What is that key to success? In addition to the theoretical knowledge, there are 5 or 6 areas which give you the objective analysis of various issues.
Yes, sir.
Right? For example, start with Investopedia. Have you ever gone through Investopedia?
Yes, sir.
Right? So go through it
Yes, sir.
before going to the exam. At least revise, brush your concepts.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Secondly, there's another very, very important thing is that down to earth, because this at the aftermath of COP26,
Yes, sir.
so many questions will be asked.
Yes.
IPCC reports are coming, and all those things are happening now.
Yes, sir.
So you should know about that. Seminar magazine is very, very important.
Yes, sir.
And lastly, for interview, Economic and Political Weekly. Of course, you might be reading some newspapers. Which newspapers are you reading?
So the Indian Express, Times of India, and the Hindu.
The Hindu.
Yes.
But no newspaper of economy.
So specifically economics, I sometimes read economics time, but not regularly. Sir.
Not available.
Yes.
Please,
Yes.
believe me,
Yes, sir.
for next 10-15 days, go through the articles of Economic Times also.
Definitely, sir.
Please.
Yes, sir.
Because this is giving now extraordinarily good analysis of international relations,
Yes, sir.
development issues, and economic issues.
Economic
This
issues.
is the only newspaper that's present in the country.
Okay,
Please
sir.
do that.
Okay, sir.
Right? Anything else in your mind?
Sir, nothing else, sir.
So all the very best.
Thank
do
you, sir.
well,
Thank you, sir.
and ring me up afterwards your selection that yes, I have got selected.
Sure, sir.
So work hard for that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I would act upon the suggestion.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.